boom, you can wish it one card. It's yours right now.
That I don't have?
Yes.
Well, the T206 Wagner.
The T206 Wagner. Okay. Yeah, I mean,
I'd trade you 1052 Mickey Mantles for a T206 Wagner.
man.
Really?
That's the one card for me.
For you.
For me.
Yep. Right. Wow.
I mean, one sold for, what was it earlier this year?
6 million.
6 million?
6 million.
6 million. Yeah, it was 6 million.
Yeah. Well, you think about it. There's only been like 70 some graded, and a lot of them are cut in half, trimmed, have a hole in his face. So there aren't that many. What I want to say, presentable copies that present well, and there's like 2,000 of the Mickey Mantle. So the rarity is what really gets my juices flowing. I like the cards that there aren't very many of them, and I love a card that has a good story of its rarity. Like the Mickey Mantle story of them being thrown over a boat, I mean, whether it was or wasn't, that card's not particularly rare. I mean, there's only probably, like, if you look at the Willie Mays, it's almost the same pop. Willie Mays has certainly more, but not too many. And so anyway, for me, it would be the Honus Wagner.
Okay. So, some people are car guys and stuff. Are you a car guy also, or not really?
Car,
yeah, car.
Like vroom, zoom, zoom.
Yeah, vroom, yeah.
Yeah, I love cars.
You love cars. Okay. What was your first car you ever got? You ever bought?
My dad bought me this. So my dad took me to buy. He was going to buy me a car, and when I was 16, mostly because he didn't want to drive me around anymore. And so we walked in the showroom, and I'd taken a friend with me who knew more about cars than I did. So we walk in there, and he shows me this ugly lime green Chevy Malibu Classic, like a 1978 or something with like 100,000 miles on it, something like that. And so I was like, hell no, right? So my friend, he pulled me aside, and he's like, hey, take it for a test drive. And I'm like,
it's a fast car.
I said, why? This thing's ugly as hell. So he's like, just trust me, take it for a test drive. So we were on a hill, and we go up and we stop at the stop sign. So when we get there, he's like, this thing has a 305 two-barrel. It's the same engine that's in the Camaro. He says, light it up, floor it. And I floored it, and I just smoked the tires. There's smoke everywhere. And I said, sold. And so that was my first car. Because I certainly wasn't going to get that speed for what my dad was paying, like, $500 or something for a car for me.
You must have had a lot of fun with that car.
It was fun, but my tires are bald, and when winter rolled around, it was a sled. I would just slide down our main street. I remember. I'd have to start stopping like, a half a mile in advance, or I might hit somebody.
Everybody drop a like if you're watching. I have a link to the Mangini collection in the chat. It's pinned. Sub to him, to his channel. All right, so your favorite current TV show. I know we've been talking about things from when you were growing up. What about something more recent?
All the new sitcoms drive me crazy because they're not funny, and they have a laugh track after every single line, and it just gets annoying. There's only 3 shows I watch. Well, 4 shows I watch. 2.5 Men, South Park, Family Guy, and Pawn Stars. That's it.
Go.
And I watch YouTube if none of those are on. But I actually record them so I can binge watch them.
I mean, it's just I don't watch a lot of TV either. I watch 0 shows. It's not the same. But I have 3 little kids. They're small, so the TV is always on, the Nickelodeon or whatever, Disney, all that stuff. And then by the time they're in bed, I'm here goofing off on on the computer, something like that, And then on Friday nights, we'll watch like half a movie, and then we'll finish it Saturday night. So TV shows, it's tough. There's nothing that really attracts me.
Oh, I mean, all the ones on network TV, they just don't appeal to me at all. But I did get into, a few Netflix. I forget what it's called, named after the town. That one with young Thor, where he's becoming Thor.
Oh, I
It
don't
had
know. I
two
didn't see it.
seasons. That was a really good one. And of course, Cobra Kai, baby.
Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
I've seen the commercials.
Because
know
I am Johnny in that. Like I relate to Johnny so well.
Okay, going down, related to that, the nunchucks. What's the history with the nunchucks? Because, bro, not for nothing, brother, you are really good. So I know this is not something that just happened.
Well, the thing is so like when I was in the 9th grade, I had a friend in high school and I went over his house and he taught me some basics. And in college, I just messed around and I knew just a few things. So during COVID lockdown, I was losing my mind and I was trying to come up with an activity because my gym was closed and I couldn't go to the gym and I wanted to get some fitness and I wanted to find something to do. And my work wasn't really busy at the time. There was a lot of things on hold in my industry. And so I just decided I was going to pick that back up and learn more. And I watched old videos. I was so slow and like compared to now, I can't even believe it. But yeah, so that's just how that started. I picked them up and made a kind of a funny video to Saturday Night Fever. And that's it. So it was my COVID lockdown project.
Gotcha. Okay.
You got pretty good. You got pretty good in that little bit amount of time.
I know. I figured you were going to say,
Wow.
I've been practicing
My whole life. I thought you've been doing it your whole life.
Well, I mean, I'm an obsessive compulsive. I told you I had, tens of thousands of vintage cards by the time I was in junior high.
Right.
I get real into things.
Yeah, so do
Like
I.
I got into chess for a while. I would play with my friends, and one guy would kill me with his queen. One guy we'd split 50-50, and another guy I couldn't beat at all. And so I said, you know what? I know how the pieces move, but I don't know how to play chess. So I'm going to learn. So I started buying chess books. I started studying games. I hired a 4-time Pennsylvania Grandmaster chess coach. So I invited him all over to play. And the guy that I used to split with, I spotted him a rook and he couldn't beat me. And the other guy that used to beat me with the queen, I said, you bring that queen out, I'm shoving her up your ass. You're not going to have her long. And he brought her out and I took her in 5 moves. And then the guy I couldn't beat at all, I beat him 12 games to nothing. He got mad and left. So I get real obsessed with things.
Wow. Okay. It's funny. My wife says the same thing about me. And she said, when I just, get into something, it's just like no joke.
Yeah, as I told you, I'm an only child, so I had to find ways to entertain myself. I grew up in the country, so if my friends weren't around or we weren't playing ball or something, trading cards, flipping cards, I had to entertain myself. We had a TV that had 3 channels, and most of the time there was junk on all 3, right? And so you didn't, you would sit around and literally just listen to music, so I had to find ways to entertain myself. I remember, with my cards, it was just an escape, and it was a way. I've always loved history. I was a baseball fanatic, so it was always a way for me to just get into my own and really enjoy a few passions rolled into one, plus spend my time. And man, I remember waking up and not wanting to go to school because I just wanted to have my cards. I didn't want to. I just wanted to play with my cards, sort my cards. If I was in the middle of sorting them and putting a set together, it took like every ounce of power to go to school. I didn't want to leave them.
Wow. Okay, so what about? And I know I asked you about like what card or collectible that you have that's worth the most. What about something that you regret buying because maybe for whatever reason, just something that it was a bad experience. Maybe it doesn't have to do with the money behind it, but just like, man, that was rough.
You know what? I can't think of one, to be honest.
Okay, so that's great.
I got a better way of answering that question because I know from I've been watching you for a while now. We try to compare like other investments and stuff as collectibles also. So like for instance stocks and stuff like that. We call them on this channel, we call them collectibles. So have you ever had like a bad investment with something like that?
With stocks?
Yeah, or any
yeah.
investments that.
Oh, okay, there we go. We got something.
You got something.
I'm a big stock investor. So,
Right.
you know, I've been doing it now for like 20 years.
Right.
And I mean, I certainly made mistakes. I remember I was holding a mortgage company. Forget the name of it now, but it paid a monster dividend. And I love to invest in dividends. And when the real estate collapse happened, I remember I was down several $1,000s before the bell even rang. I was calling my broker and I couldn't sell it fast enough, praying that he answered and he sold it. And it ended up being one of my best trades ever because it ended up going to zero. And I got out of it at like, I think it was $18. So I could have lost a lot more.
Okay. Thank God.
But, you know, I'm of the belief that there's no bad experiences because whatever experience you go through, you know, makes you stronger. Like Nietzsche, his quote, that which doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And
Absolutely.
you learn from it. And, you know, I never made that mistake again. You know, that's why I tend to stay away from the riskier things. I'm more of a Warren Buffett kind of investor where I invest in things I understand. I understand how they make their money. You know, blue chip, nice companies that, you know, a little hiccup isn't going to put them out of business or something. Because I've seen a lot of those over the years. And that's why I'm always warning in the card market, you know, nothing goes straight up. I mean, if you think about it, like it was only 2 years ago, Tesla had plummeted from over 800 to $135, 135. Right.
Yeah.
At one time, Amazon and Apple both went from their, you know, highs to $1. They were $1 stock. Amazon was $1 stock during the 2001 collapse. So yeah, if you held it for 20 or 30 years, sure, you made money. But what's the opportunity cost that you had to wait while it was down from 170 to 1?
Right.
You know, there's an opportunity cost there. So, you know, I don't like to play in those realms too often. And one thing that I do know is everything goes down. Everything can go up, but they all go down too. Nothing goes up in a straight line or down in a straight line.
That's right. So that brings me into my next question. So, you know, it's not all. You're not all about vintage. I know that you also are into newer age cards and stuff like that. Are you anywhere into like cryptocurrencies or NFTs or anything like that, or not? You're not.
I am invested.
Yes,
I'm invested in crypto, but mostly through ETFs. But where I think the money is to be made more safely, like early on in crypto, I didn't want to buy Bitcoin directly, so I bought Square. I played it that way. And I remember telling all my friends 3 years ago to buy Square. It was selling for like 30 or between 30, $50. So I played it that way for a while, but I got out of that. And now I'm more directly into ETFs. And but I think where some safer money is to be made in that space is the people, the platforms where you buy and sell that, where you trade it.
Yeah.
Because, you know, what has been happening is when Bitcoin goes down, well, more people trade it. I mean, people are buying it and then it runs back up, right? And so even if Bitcoin's down, the platforms can make money. So I'm in Coinbase and I really like one that's been performing horribly, but I have a feeling that, you know, I'm optimistic I'll make money in the long run, and that's Robinhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Robinhood has a lot of room.
It's gotten pummeled over the last couple months.
Yeah, but
Coinbase, you know, I was way up on it, got not way down, but it got down for a while. It was really, and then it just took off like a rocket ship, and now recently it's pulled back a little bit. But that's one I like for the long term. Yeah, that could be $1,000 stock in a heartbeat.
So how do you feel about the digital space with cards that they're trying to move in these days?
Okay, so I know this is your guys' thing, and you know, I mean no offense to anybody. I don't understand it at all. Like I could take a picture of this Babe Ruth and sell it to you for 50,000. I'm more than willing to do that. I don't get it.
I totally understand that. I totally understand that. It took, you know, me a while to, you know, kind of warm up to it. So I completely understand that.
Well, I saw that
John,
Wayne
I
Gretzky-
still don't understand it. I just put my faith in these guys and hope for the best.
Well, okay. So one of the things that people can get into trouble with, like you got to be careful, is that right now, like if you started investing in sports cars or you started trading stocks or you got into Bitcoin in the last 2 years, right? And again, I don't mean any offense by this, but you can be a complete moron and have made money, right? Because everybody made money. Everything's gone up and up and up and up and up. And your entry point, for me, when I invest in something, I want to buy down here and I want to sell it up here. What's happening now is everybody's buying it up here and selling it even higher.
Right.
And there have certainly been a lot of stock traders over the years that have made a lot of money that way. There was a guy, Jesse, his last name's escaping me, but like he would make a killing one year and then lose everything the next year and then make a killing again. Jesse Livermore. And he's one of my idols in investing, but he was so up and down. And it's just a riskier way to do it. That doesn't mean you can't make a killing, but right now everybody was making money. Now that the card market's pulled back a little bit, people are second guessing. I'm starting to see a lot of prices. I'm getting cards where I shouldn't be getting them.
Right.
So you always have to be careful because it's like during the housing boom, I see all my friends, and I know finances, and I take care of my money, and they're buying these interest only loans. They're taking these interest only loans and buying homes that are way too big, more than they should be, right? Just to kind of keep up with the Joneses, and house prices are going up every day and you can't go wrong. And what happened during the collapse? I mean, more foreclosures than ever in the history of the country, because you now have a $900,000 mortgage, interest only, that you didn't pay a damn penny towards your principal, that's now worth $700,000. And all of a sudden, if interest rates bump up and you didn't take a fixed rate and it's variable, I mean, one little percentage, your payment might go up $500 a month.
Yeah, you're screwed.
And you already were strapped.
Right.
So they just walked away from their homes. Yep. And I was trying to tell my friends not to do that. I know friends that happened to. Don't. I remember during that time, my wife and I went we were buying a house and we went to the bank. And when the bank told me how much money they would give me for a house, I looked at him and told him he was smoking crack. Because you're like, okay, you'll give me this, but I can't live. Like, can I have a car? Can I eat? Yeah, like I can afford the mortgage payment, but I can't afford anything else. How am I supposed to buy some baseball cards?
Right, exactly.
So you have to make your own decision. Don't listen to the bankers or what your friends are doing.
Especially the bankers. Don't listen to them.
So, John, I mean, again, you don't have to say what job you have, but what industry are you in? Because it seems like maybe it's in finances or something like that.
No, it's not. That's just another passion of mine. But I'm in wireless telecom. I'm building 5G.
Oh wow,
that's what I work. Man, we gotta talk. We gotta talk. I'm in the wireless industry myself.
Oh, you are?
Yeah. I've done everything from years ago, started building cell sites like there.
That's what I did years ago.
Yeah, I built cell sites.
Yeah, I put up all kind of towers.
That is hilarious. That is hilarious. I have an office gig now, but I work from home. But
Me too.
I had no idea. That is, man, I'm in shock right now. Wow. Okay. Well, going along those lines, I have a question. If you were going to be rich, like they were going to pay you whatever amount to be rich, whatever it is to be rich, but you had to work or manage a business or do something. You couldn't just collect the money. You had to do something. What would you do? What kind of job or what kind of business would you run? And it better not be building cell sites.
I'll be honest with you. You know what? I'm beyond that. Like, I don't want to work for the man. I don't want to participate in corporate America, but I can't sing and I can't play football. I'm too small. Whatever. I'm too old. And so I being an actor or something, you work real hard for a week or two, and then you don't. That's what I want. I don't want to work for the man anymore. Corporate America, I'm kind of a hippie that way, but that's what I have to do to make money. So I would to be honest with you, I'd stay home and just and I've done this actually for months at a time when I get burned out, because our industry is just unbelievably stressful. Like the last 3 weeks for me has just been a nightmare. And I mean, it's the holiday. I can't even enjoy it. Like, we're building stuff on Christmas and stuff. Like, it's just not even enjoyable. And so every once in a while, I'll take a little time off. I get burned out, and I'll just trade stocks more. I just get more active with it. Like, I did really well during COVID because what I was doing was day trading. Because one day it would be down 1,000, the next day it'd be up 1,000. One day it's down 2,000. I'd buy and wait for it to go back. And I day traded my way back and got all my money, back and then some from those huge, losses. And it's funny because everybody was calling me, all my friends that know I'm into stocks, and they were like, "Where's this going to bottom?" And I said, 18.5. 18.5. If it goes lower than 18.5, we're all in trouble. And man, that's exactly where it had bottomed. I even saved the text messages when I sent it to them so people would believe that, I wasn't making that up. But I really felt like it was going that far down.
Wow. So it's day trading. I'm scared to do that because, you gotta, I guess you gotta kind of just know. You have to have.
And let me say this. It wasn't true day trading. Day trading is buying and selling the same exact day. That's the true definition of day trading. I do what's called swing trading, right? Like, UPS is down $32 a day. And, during COVID, what's going to happen? UPS is going to do better, not worse. So, look what it did after that. And I'd let it run. I remember Wendy's fell from $23 to $5. How could I not buy that?
Right.
In a month, it was back to 15. I mean, like what happens is they have these algorithms, and computers are doing the trading. So when stocks start to plummet, it's computers selling everything off. It's not logical. And there's an old adage that the money is to be made when there's blood in the streets.
Yeah.
Right.
And, you need that shakeout. And so they're selling these things like it's not real. Is what I'm saying. It's not real. It's not humans doing it. It's just these algorithms are kicking in, and it's the big guys that move the market. You and I buying stock, that's like peeing in the ocean to warm it up.
Yeah.
It's
not going to happen.
It's the guys that are buying billions. And the one thing that I've found, and this is a real interesting indicator, is the big guys have to buy in small portions, right? Otherwise, they run the stock up on themselves or they run it down on themselves. And if you notice, whatever the market does in the last 15 minutes will tell you if it's whether it's a stock or the market itself, whether it's in a bear market or a bull market. And what you'll find in a bull market, even if the market's down, it'll go up at the very end of the day. And same with a stock. If it's in a bull phase, you'll see it could be down all day, and it goes either back to even or maybe even up a little bit in that last 15 minutes. And it's the opposite in a bear market. So I don't know if you noticed today, like the market was up well over 100, but it finished way down. At the end of the day, it trickled down. And it's been doing that for the last few weeks. And I think what's going to happen is, there's always a Santa Claus rally, almost always, as long as I've been following it, because there's a few things that happen there. Number one, there's a lot of people putting money to work at the end of the year, pension funds, that kind of thing. Number two, mutual funds don't have to tell you when they bought something. So what they do at the end of the year, and this is so unscrupulous, but I know it's done, is they'll buy the highest flyers. And when you get that book in January or February, it'll show that they own Facebook and they own Tesla and they own this. They don't tell you they just bought it. And then the other thing that happens is if I sell my stocks in December, I have to pay taxes in April. But if I wait and sell them in January, I don't have to sell them for another April. Right? I get an extra year. So nobody sells in December. And generally speaking, you'll see whatever happens in the first part of January usually holds true for the rest of the year. It's an old adage on Wall Street. But I really believe that there's a huge collapse coming. I mean, with inflation at these levels, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how anybody can look around the world with COVID, inflation, gas prices. You can't even 61% labor participation rate. These ships out over California, and
Just
and
look
all
at Tesla.
and the government spending trillions on nothing, and then you have the tapering that's going to occur.
Yeah.
I don't know how anybody looks around the world and says, "Wow, this is the best place. I should put all my money in the stock market." Because it's just going to be so wonderful.
Tesla's a perfect example. Tesla's is bound to blow up sometime. It's evaluated at something that it's not.
Well, I mean, yeah. So that's always been a cult stock, right? I mean, even Elon Musk said his stock is way too high, and even when they were losing money, it was still a $145 stock. But the thing is that the cult stocks can last a very long time. And there's an old adage on Wall Street that the markets can stay irrational longer than you can stay liquid. Mm-hmm. It's like you can short a stock and you might be right, but if you're not right at the right time, you could still lose your shirt. Yeah. Right? Like, let's say you short Tesla today. Well, it might run up and you get a margin call, and a year from now it plummets down to 1. Well, you were right, but you didn't time it right. So it's a very tricky thing to do. Risky, you know what I mean?
So I got a question. We're, this was definitely not on the agenda, but we're here. We're the train is okay. We own our house, and we are sitting on a lot of equity. Okay, and we were thinking about selling the house because I'm fearful of the whole market crashing again. And we saw what happened years ago. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe what we should do is sell the house, rent, and again, this is a guess, a speculation. We rent and see where the market goes. I mean, how much higher can this freaking market go?
Well, I mean, do you have a variable rate or a fixed?
It's fixed.
I mean, if it were me, and this is just me, is, very few people can time any market correctly. Right. And, I said this during the last boom, and it lasted years longer than I thought it would. Years. And I learned a valuable lesson there. This stock market boom has lasted, at least 1 year longer than I thought it would. Like last March, I thought it was going to probably correct, and I was wrong about that. So you can't time things. If you have a good house and you don't plan on moving, right, and you have a fixed rate and you don't have to worry about your rate going up, personally, I would hold on to it because it's a long-term investment. It's not going to go down forever if you plan on staying there, right? Because I don't think you should, unless you're a flipper, you're fixing it up and you're getting it at a good price, and that's your business. For people that have to live in their home, that's long term. You're going to be fine, right? And I'm of the opinion. I'm of the opinion that a home is a liability and not an asset, because you don't make money from your home. Right? Do you make monthly income? Hell no. You pay monthly out. Right? Do you pay taxes to the government? Yes. Do you pay upkeep? Yes. Like it's a money spending machine if you have to live in it. But on the other hand, you have to live somewhere. And why not live in your own home rather than renting from somebody else? Absolutely. I agree.
Especially with 3 kids.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So okay. Favorite food. Well, you're Italian, right? Is it Italian food?
Absolutely. Spaghetti and meatballs, baby.
Yeah.
Some good eggplant parmesan. I like cheeseburgers, pizza. I eat like a 12-year-old. Mac and cheese.
Okay. So if you're watching, drop a like. I've got John Mangini sitting down with us. We, John, we have a few more minutes.
Absolutely.